Hey everyone, it's Curtis. Wanted to spend some time just sharing some gems that I've gotten from some really amazing conversations with horse owners about their horse's health and about their health as well that's come out of those conversations. And one of the things that's been really neat to see is the direction that these conversations have. People come in with a list of things that they're very passionate about, very concerned about. There's a lot of resources that are already going into these problems that have been taken up by these problems. And I would say the biggest resource is the emotional one that is taken on by these owners who love these animals just as much, if not more, than, than their own children. And that's not a bad thing. And the emotion that they often feel is just a sense of not knowing, of helplessness. And one of the things that I'm just there to do is just provide clarity and a certainty in just understanding the real reason that those problems are happening and showing up. And what we're able to do is really take a step forward and understand that the groundhog day that they're currently in of masking symptoms, trying to focus on a specific area to manage that area, rather than taking a step back and just having a conversation about these animals, what's happened to them, their journey. And a lot of these owners have not a lot of history of these animals. They've inherited them. They've taken over the journey with these animals, and there's this kind of black hole of past of trauma that they're working through. But the beautiful thing about these animals and our own bodies as well is these animals, when they move, their movement tells a story. And if we actually stop and watch, take a look at that, we can actually understand a lot of the reason why that story has happened and why they're moving the way they are. These animals wear their emotions on their sleeve. And it's amazing to see and understand what happens when you can actually have a conversation and get a sense of not just what you can see above the surface, the check engine lights that have us panicked, but to take a look below the surface at the cellular level and just to understand that, there is a really strong reason for why that's happening. There's a breakdown in biology at a lower level that's affecting these animals physically, mentally, and emotionally. And when we're able to really take a step back and have that conversation just to get a sense, what's happening, poor oxygen supply, poor nutrient supply, poor removal of waste, why that poor cell state is happening. Rather than putting duct tape over these check engine lights, so we're able to really understand why they're there, why they've shown up and address them in the first place. And this often takes a little bit of time to unwind, to have that conversation. There's an urgency, and I can understand that, why you want to take care of these problems quickly, effectively, and efficiently. That's fair. But health transformation doesn't happen in an injection. It doesn't happen in a minute. It doesn't happen in a day. These problems have taken days, weeks, months, and sometimes years to manifest and build and happen at a cellular level. And so these check engine lights that we often see, let's understand why they're going on. And I love these conversations that I'm having with these owners. I get off every conversation. I've learned more, I've grown more, and I'm able to really equip them with a roadmap, a circulation roadmap to help them understand an approach that can really provide a foundational, sustainable, at home strategy for them to start to really address the full body, the full issues. But it's really this conversation that allows that paves the way for that. And so we're able to step down and get into these talks and just understand, what brought you to this conversation in the first place? What is it that's really happening? And thank you, by the way, for exploring how boosting circulation can improve horse health. And I just want to understand the challenges within that. A lot of times they haven't really had the chance to talk through them. When they have the chance to actually understand, to speak these out, they can hear themselves. And it's almost like kind of a self-diagnosis process. We just clarify and understand. My goal isn't to fix, but just to listen. And I love that part. And to understand, the resources that they have available. Everyone's got different resources, but it's not if they have the resources available at that point. It's if they are resourceful and willing to look and explore all those options. And when we're able to explore all those options and really understand that, they are willing to, make some changes and adjustments to bring the resources into play. And so it's just about exploring what those options are, understanding, that they actually are the decision maker, that they're the ones who are responsible for that animal's health, and that they're not abdicating or pushing that onto someone else. It's really empowering when they understand and hear themselves say, yeah, I'm the one who's in charge of this animal. It really helps empower them. And I enjoy that conversation. And then just to understand, how long have you been working through this? Often it's years. And when they actually understand that it's been a long time, some of the panic can actually turn into a more focused energy towards solving the problem. They understand that this has been happening for a while, but they don't have a concept of time because they've been in it. And there's a lot of emotion around that. And it's tough to really get a sense of time when you have emotions. So, not to ignore those emotions, but to really place them and provide the right context. And when we're able to do that, we're able to start looking at the real problem. What have they done to solve this? And when we start to take a look at those options and provide that whole context, we're able to make a lot of headway and provide a game plan and that circulation roadmap. I enjoy these conversations. I hope you found this helpful.